Welcome, everybody, to another episode of our 25th anniversary of the Black College Expo special edition of Elevate Your Game. Excited, 25 years. 25 years we've been doing the Black College Expo, and we're about to kick off that 25th year in 2024 with our BCE in Los Angeles at the LA Convention Center. We are super excited. Now, this is going to be a special treat. We're going to have somebody on here today that's talking about why they're coming to the expo as a community organizer and organization that's supporting our young men and women of color to exceed in just careers in general, especially through technology. I am super excited because they're joining us today as a special guest for our LA Black College Expo to share the insight of tech and innovation for the future. Black superstars, our creators, our innovators. We are super excited to invite on as a special guest to elevate your game. This is Rashida Jones. Welcome.
What's up? How you doing, Denise?
And I wanted to not tell too much about who you are and what you do, because I want you to say who you are and big it to the biggest fullness of your heart. Who is you? Who are you?
Who is I? I love it. Let's split verbs. Let's do it all because hey, we're all about the culture, and at the end of the day, like that's where we started. That is the core of what we do. That's our love. That's our passion. It's all about the culture, and we've seen how our culture dominates the world globally. And that's truly like our business proposition. It's around, global economics, globalization of culture and how that resonates, around the world. And we believe at Tec Leimert that through technology, there is a synergy or a power that we can kind of bridge. And, like technology is making the world smaller, it's shrinking the world. We can talk to people in Japan and the Sudan and in Brazil and, people around the world who look like us that care about the same things as we do. Like I heard this comment recently get reintroduced of like, all hoods are the same. And when I heard that, I was like, I heard it years ago and I heard it again recently. And I was like, that's so true. And when you think about it from a business sense, like all hoods are the same, meaning that, our sentiments and our interests, around the world resonate. And it just makes it such a huge global proposition. We just love it. So you asked, who am I? Okay, go ahead.
No. I love that. That is what we need. That's the energy, because tonight's conversation on Elevate Your Game is you, Tec Leimert. You're helping the future Black creators and innovators. That's our conversation. And it means so much because you're dealing with a generation, as we have been talking about, those full circle moments where we're trying to get Gen this, Gen that, and Gen now.
Yeah, right. All them gens.
Connected to one another. So it's the elders helping the youngins helping the elders, and then the future is right at their fingertips. And so what is our plight? Why are we doing this? Why is the Black College Expo so important to you?
Okay.
Lead a seminar.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything you said is so important. I want to touch on that in a couple of different ways. One, we're seeing in our lifetime this crossing of generations where, and it resonates for me like extremely like through like this nexus of tech and entertainment. And so with hip hop or like with video games, let's say, right? I play Madden and my kids play Madden. Like we have similar interests. And in this video game, you have hip hop and you have like all these different elements that allow for this generational gap to be bridged. And, I feel like there's always been like friction, your parents would say, "Oh, why are you listening to that?" And then you would say, "Oh, you're just like you don't get it, right?" But
Right.
now we're enjoying a lot of the same music,
Yeah.
a lot of the same interests, and it's such a beautiful space and time to have that be present. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I think that's amplified through like technology and truly like entertainment in that nexus,
Yeah.
for us to see it kind of real time.
If
And
you think
so,
if you think about what you just said, this
mm,
is the first time that I've seen in my lifetime where the technology itself is where every generation is trying to do something on their phone, learn about the internet.
everybody got an IG account, you try not to run into your parents on IG, and like, I mean,
Right. That's the first time, because usually back in the past when we were growing up, I'm Gen X, so I was
hmm
born in the 70s into the 80s and
hmm
grew up in the 90s, so to speak, that 80s 90s kind of vibe. And
yeah,
you saw our parents saying, "Oh, I ain't gonna use that. That's not
right,
that's not music. What are you talking about?"
right,
Now
right,
every generation is interfacing on one thing for sure, and the
hmm
commonality is technology.
yep,
And
yep,
once we have that conversation to our youngins, like, don't just look at it as a phone. Look at it as a
hmm
computer. Look at it as a way to build a business. Look at it a way to sell a message or to create a platform. Look at it a way to conduct.
yes,
You make your voice be known. There's so many different ways you can do designing on it. Like you said, you can play video games. There's so many things you can interface with this technology that started way back in the 60s and
yeah,
then continue to transition through and through with how we needed it for our day to day. And
yeah.
what's the most important thing that Tec Leimert wants to convey to getting people onboarded into your
Yeah.
organization? Can they expect? What can they expect coming to you guys?
Okay, and I'll answer that by answering your other question too about us being at the Black College Expo,
Mhm.
because given the space and time that we're in, it is so important, and I
Mhm.
cannot stress this enough. It is so important for our community to
Mhm.
be involved in these innovations
Mhm.
of technology. And it's happening at such a rapid pace that it's like the time is now, because if we don't jump in both feet, we will be left behind. And what does that look like, right? Us being left behind. So, we're talking about like AI,
Mhm.
artificial intelligence. Well, the artificial intelligence is only really as intelligent as we program it to be, but it's getting smarter by the day. And
Yeah.
who's feeding that thing information, right? And how do you take out cultural biases in that programming, right? And so if we're not like boots on the ground and being a part of the influx of information into this system,
Yeah.
we're gonna get ostracized, or we're gonna get typecast, or we're gonna get like all these kind of negative kind of
Mhm.
reactions and effects in this
Yeah.
new digitization of the world. We're not gonna have equity,
No.
and that's a problem.
We're going to have so many issues because AI has already been programmed by people who may have not looked like us, but they understand the trends and what's happening in society. So they're feeding the program the
Mhm,
information that the news,
mhm.
statistics, and
Right,
those are the data points
all
of
the narratives we have
there.
to control. We have to control
We
our
don't control
narrative.
those narratives. We don't
Right,
control
right,
that information being
right,
inputted in computers and machine
right,
learning.
right.
We only control our messaging when we stop it from going too far. When we
Yeah.
go in there and say, "Hey, we need some corrections here,"
and,
and
and that's when it's too late. Just by the way,
it
it's
is.
too late then, right?
There-
So,
It's like, for example, I tell young people all the time: be careful what you post on your social platforms,
mm-hmm,
because it's already out there. I grew up in a generation, we did our dirt behind closed doors. Nobody knew
mm-hmm,
about it. You snuck
mm-hmm,
around, boom, boom,
mm-hmm,
boom.
mm-hmm,
You didn't get in trouble unless you got caught.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm,
already posted it. Well,
mm-hmm.
I said it's already went
It's done.
viral.
It's out there. It ain't no taking it down. Just FYI. Like,
It's
yeah.
no, and then that shapes our narrative. That
Yep.
shapes our narrative once again.
Yep.
And our narrative is hard to determine,
retrain, reshape.
reinvent,
Yes, yes.
remind people that, hey, we ain't really like this.
You
This is the
know,
moment.
and so with that though, there's a plus side to that as well, because in the same token, we do have the opportunity to put out narratives and tell stories that really represent the non-monolith
Mhm.
that exists, right? And so it can go like that's the beauty of it, is that it can go both ways, and it's kind of up to us to kind of take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of us. And so that leads us to, like Tec Leimert and what we do. And
Mhm.
so we focus on a particular niche, right, within technology. And so, yes, like, folks, like I'm an engineering major, right? I majored in engineering. I later went to business school, which put me kind of in a unique space, and then went to work in entertainment on the business side. So it put
Okay.
me kind of in a unique space of this kind of tech and entertainment
Mhm.
nexus. So I'm speaking from experience.
So you're
Um,
behind the scenes, so to speak, in a platform where you're actually supporting the business of the organization that does the entertainment, not in front of the
correct.
camera, not just for our audience to be clear. You're
Correct.
you're both.
Correct. So aside from being a co-founder of Tec Leimert, which is a nonprofit organization in South LA, I also do film finance for
Mhm.
an entertainment studio.
Mhm.
And so this is the group that greenlights projects for to be released in theaters around the world. And
Mhm.
so kind of seeing things from multiple lenses,
Mhm.
kind of seeing the world from multiple lenses from the technology space. So when I graduated from college, I went to work for a small tech firm and kind of got that experience, to
Right.
later moving into the business side of things in entertainment. I kind of got to see this disruption. Also, again, I am a 70s baby, 80s, 90s growing up. Got to see this disruption by tech in all of the kind of like macro, like in music and film, TV,
I love it.
in video game, like all these entertainment spaces. I got to see them being disrupted by tech, and got to kind of think about, oh, this is interesting. Like
Mhm.
I'm watching these barriers to entry be lowered, come down, where now someone from their living room, if they want the world to see a story or some content that they created, they can. They don't have to go sit in somebody's office and like pray,
Pitch a project.
that it'll get like, look, right, right.
Don't
So
shelf it. Don't put it on the shelf and let it collect dust.
right. So we're seeing all that like change before our very eyes. So it is an opportunity in front of us. And so for us at Tec Leimert, right, again, like, yes, coding is important, but understand that the computers are getting smarter by the day.
Uh,
And they're going to be coding themselves very soon. They're doing it now, to be
if
honest.
you think racism is and stereotypes are bad now, imagine if you can't stop a computer machine, an AI system to stop with the attacks, to
Yeah,
stop police brutality, so to
yeah,
speak.
yeah,
Any type of biases that are you're in the neighborhood, you fit the profile.
yeah.
That's going to be amplified kind of
100%.
even though they may have
100%.
worked on facial recognition better, there's still certain things you cannot correct, and that's human nature. Human
Right.
nature in technology is two separate things. Human nature, there's a soul, there's a spirit, there's a mental, there's a emotional, there is also a moral where you can feel that pushback.
And
There's
that's where we come in at, because we are that moral compass to the world, right? And that's where our voice needs to be included in the programming of this system that is going to be a force for our foreseeable future. So we have to be a part of the programming of that system. And so at Tec Leimert, we focus on a particular niche of this digital economy, and we
Mhm.
focus on the creative side, because everything you said, a computer cannot create. A computer does not have a soul. A
Mhm.
computer does not have that connection of imagination,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah,
that's what creativity is. Creativity is imagination.
yeah.
Computers don't have an imagination.
No.
This is where we come in at. That is our superpower. That is our differentiator, right? And so that's what we wanted to focus on at Tec Leimert. And so we'll be happy. We're happy that we'll be featuring a piece of content at the Black College Expo that highlights that at its highest form. So let me explain what that is. So
yeah, I'm excited.
so creativity, right?
Creativity.
I'm a hip hop head, right?
Okay,
So in hip hop, we have what's known as a cipher, right? And this is spitting off the dome. That is creativity at its highest form. Okay. Yes. So we took this super elevated creative concept and we digitized it. We put it in the metaverse. So we took two things that are very polarizing, technology and creativity, and put them in one form, in one setting. And that's not like this is like new, right? Because we got to get rid of the idea of art being so separate from technology, because they're wedded at the hip. They're not polarizing concepts. They are wedded at, like, and hip hop is the prime example of that. The technology, like if you ever listen to like DJ Quick talk about like music production, like the technology that goes into hip hop is out of this world. Yeah. The creativity is right. So you need both. So we figured out something that we think is very special, and we created a hip hop cipher in the metaverse. That's so you put on the goggles.
Oh my God!
Metaverse, and you get to see
dancing in the line together.
And I got to tell you, it's fire. It's a bunch of LA artists, so local LA artists spitting with a New York subway backdrop. So they're in Brooklyn spitting fire in the metaverse. Like is huge. So I can't wait to like showcase that at the Black College Expo.
So let's go back to real quick. You talked about the reason why you guys did this is because you were working in these two different spaces, entertainment and working in technology, kind of like on these business sides. What did you see? Because we, like you just told us, a very innovative way to ignite the innovations of young people just by stepping into that metaverse and going into that sound booth to spit. It's like that right there will get their juices flowing, saying, and then you're putting technology you're connecting the dots of it.
Yeah.
Saying it's technology that's driving this.
Yes.
Don't just say metaverse, because that's just a term that you got picked up from a person.
Right.
That's the conditioning of where they want to think about a brand. That's what they think the brand phrase. So you always think about meta when you think about metaverse. You don't.
Yeah, they were smart in that way. Yes.
Because it's just like when you think of coffee, you only think of Starbucks.
Yeah.
I want a sticky note. I think of a Post-it. It's like
right. That's branding. Yep. Yes.
You figure out that you, as a person who sees these two different spaces, and then you are around people that really don't look like you all the time.
Yeah. So
this creation.
Let me dig into that. And I'm gonna give you an example. And this is me just being around really smart people, right?
Right.
So I was blown away when I sat down with a good friend of mine who is a software engineer for a video game company. Okay. We're sitting down, having coffee, chopping it up, and he was explaining to me how his company recruits from fashion schools. Okay. And I was like, why would a video game development company, and this is one of the biggest video game development companies in the world, based here in Santa Monica, why would they recruit from the fashion school for their company? Like, I couldn't process that. Right. And then he went on to say, well, so in the video game industry, how they make money, one of their biggest revenue generators is called microtransactions. Okay. And what that is, and this blew me away too, when my son, who's 19 now, had purchased a pair of shoes, he was like, oh, I got these, like, let's just say Nike Dunks that I paid $100 for. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me see them. And he's like, well, no, like they're in the game. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, wear them, right?
Now my character, like, what my avatar has them, but like I can't show you the shoe. Like, you gotta go watch me on the game. And I'm like, you paid $100 but shoes that you can't wear for your character to wear?
Okay.
Like, nah, son, nah, you joking, right? Like, so, but this is how the video game industry makes money. These microtransactions, you purchasing in app, right? And so, of course, it needs to be fly, right? For you to make that purchase. Who's designing these skins to make
Ooh.
it be fly? So you go and spend that coin. Yeah, they recruit from the fashion industry. And I'm like, wow, so you could be a fashion person working at a video game development company. You see this cross pollination of industries, right?
And
And
then
it's
and there we fit in. There's where we fit in, and we don't even see you connected the conversation into
we make it fresh. We are the authors of fresh.
that's
You know,
right.
I don't use dope too much anymore. I say fresh, but we are the authors of whatever that is, which is culture, which is which is if you like. Okay, check this out, Denise. There's stats that you can't get a hold of,
Yeah.
but I guarantee you, one of America's biggest exports
Okay.
is our culture,
It is.
right? You can
Hands down.
how much that contributes to GDP? You can't get that number, but I
Yeah.
bet you it's $1 trillion something dollars.
It's beyond that. It was like you do the numbers and you see how much we, like you said, your son's buying $100 shoes for his avatar, how much you consume.
Mm-hmm.
Brands out there who have taken advantage of our culture,
Mm-hmm.
placing these different these items, these logos and all this other stuff
Mm-hmm. Selling
that
it back to us.
selling it back to us, down to our hair. We can go into our community and see us selling our own hair
you
products
know,
and
you
stuff.
know, which I'm loving. I'm loving the natural thing you got
Oh,
going on. It's
thank you.
yes.
I love that. It's hard to come to grips to saying that we haven't had control of our lives and how we receive information for a long time.
Yeah.
But if we get involved in tech, this is what you're saying to me. This is what I'm hearing. If we get involved in tech at the ground level and connect that we are into fashion and how that transitions into tech, we are into, all kind, whatever it is that the classes that you guys are leading, and you make that connection. And then all of a sudden you look back and you say, hey, now we are not only creating content and culture through our culture, we're also innovating the future of how technology will be interfacing with every user.
100%. Yes. Yes. And that's truly the win, right? That's the win. It's kind of like backdooring the system, but it's putting us in an equitable space. And that's what Tec Leimert's vision is creating equitable Black futures in this digital economy. And again, just being around thought leaders and industry experts to kind of see what's happening around the corner and making sure that we can help our community be a part of that, next level of things. That's where Tec Leimert is inserting itself and making an impact.
Well, let's talk about what you guys are offering as far as what do you guys offer throughout the week or within your organization? What does that look like? You're a nonprofit.
So our bread and butter is around professional development. So let me take a step back. So every year we do a conference that's in Leimert, right? So we're true to our name. We set up shop, we close off streets, and have a conference in Leimert, highlighting this, technology and entertainment convergence. So that's panels, that's workshops, that's immersive experiences where we want to break down barriers and walls to look, see, feel, touch technology. There were people who had never put on the headset and had a VR experience, or just seeing translating virtual productions and motion capture and how to elevate your way of telling stories and just all these different things. We want creatives and entrepreneurs to kind of see these things. And I remember back in 2017 we had a cryptocurrency panel, and this was at the early stages of Bitcoin. It wasn't early, but it was early enough for you to get in. And I have to, I'm learning on this journey too. And I had to I was like, wait a minute, you want me to, I should invest in what? And I'm like, I was a little gun shy, and I kick myself to this day for not like just leaning in because you be talking to me on my yacht right now. Had I listened to the panel that we had back in 2017, but saying all that to say, we're bringing this. It's like a South by Southwest, which is this really like commerce generating like phenomena beast that happened 2 decades ago in Nowhereville. And I mean,
now
no,
it's Somerville because of
now
South
it's a
by.
global destination, right? So it's like, well, we could do that same thing in our community because we are the authors to a huge component of the force that makes this thing even a destination, which is everybody's selling culture. Don't get it twisted, and they're selling our culture. So why not us, right?
Our culture is so infused in everything.
So we make this be a true Black experience from artists who are locally based, or not, just performing and showcasing us at a high level. Again, like immersive experiences, thought leaders and industry experts, and just a community of Black and brown people, networking, and it's just it's lightning in a bottle. It's a great vibe in your backyard. Okay, so we did that. So we do that every year at the end of the summer in September.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our conference. Now, in addition to that, right, and this really kind of fueled these things because from these like insights, we're like, oh, well, the community was like, this is great. And at that time, it was a 1-day experience, and now it's a 3-day experience. So it's great for 3 days out the year, but what about the rest of the year? And so we had to kind of like retool and go back to the table and say, what can we do that's more impactful? 365.
Right. So, what services? What's your service?
Right. So we lean into our evolution of Tec Leimert, our true bread and butter, which is professional development programs. And so to date, we focus on our key areas of entertainment. So we have a video game development program, right, that focuses on key pillars within video game development. And trust and believe, everything, this is not just, educationally based. Like, we want you to get the information, but we also want you to get the bag, right? Mm-hmm. Like these skill sets translate to lucrative careers. So we're not just like saying learn something. Learn something and apply that learning to your career trajectory. Mm-hmm. That one is feasible, but also sustainable, right? Because in this 21st century economy, it's quoted to be like trillions of dollars of gap in the GDP of America because of the lack of skills. Like the American workforce is just not going to have the proper training to do the jobs that are needed in this digital economy. And so it's going to slow America down to keep pace because America's not being trained correctly. Mm-hmm. So knowing that, it's like, well, hey, we need to, there's an opportunity. Where's a problem? I look at it as an opportunity. And that's where we leaned in with Tec Leimert. How can we focus on 21st century skills for our community? And that's the win. And so video game development is one. Digital marketing. So we started off with social media. We were like, hey, we could talk to an 18-year-old or any age for that matter, and take what they do for fun, which they're great at, and plug them in to a career.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll never forget, one year we had this one kid who went through our program and landed an internship at FX, which is like Walking Dead, like the network. And the director of marketing called me, and she was like, the VP or whatever, marketing called me. She was like, yo, like, this kid is sitting up in our like executive meeting and like pitching ideas, and he's like 18, and I'm like, that's fly. Like this is our program working, right? And he's sitting with executives. So I called him up. I'm like, yo, I was like, what's going on, bro? He's like, man, I'm just doing what I do with my friends all the time, and like, just coming up with ideas, just spitting, like freestyling ideas, and they're loving it. And I'm like, man, I was like, you realize that's a 6-figure job, bro. What you're doing is a 6-figure job. You know that, right? And it's just like walking in the classrooms, around the city and community colleges, and like, and just talking with students about, like, look, like, there's opportunity, like, yes, go to college, but there's opportunities out here for you to get it in that is like a natural affinity. And instead of being a consumer, be a business. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so we started off with our social media program that was like a low barrier to entry. We could take, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, spend like a few weeks, like 12 weeks, just, understand the analytics and the business around social media, and plug them in on a meaningful way at agencies and media companies, and they have an amazing experience, get their resume up to par, and kind of launch this career trajectory. And I mean, we did this honestly in the middle of COVID, and really prove that in any market there's employable skills here. And from there, we just leaned in on that. And so we start off with social
I'm
media.
really glad that you guys are in this space of technology, entertainment, and just marketing. You're
Hmm.
in that space already, and you found that there was a gap in how the information is being utilized for profit for the
Hmm.
Black community and Brown
Hmm.
community, as
Hmm.
opposed to making money off of them. They're making
Hmm.
money with this kind of platforms that you guys are
Hmm.
trying to teach in business development about. And you're using the tools. You're using the tools that we already have. You're not making anything up. So that young man who went into that boardroom or in that executive leadership meeting spitting ideas, he had the confidence that was already allowed him in your space to kind of
Hmm.
to be themselves and dream.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
we have been taught through systemic issues
Hmm.
to mind our place,
Right.
and it shuts down our voice. They start in our schools,
Yeah.
then they
Train us early. Yeah.
early
Yeah. Yeah. Or what's that? That's not train us. That's brainwash us early,
brainwash.
where to dampen your light. And that's the thing. Like, I had great parents that instilled confidence in me, and a great community that I came from that instilled confidence in me to not dampen the light. And it's been a great journey. And I think like the area that we're focusing on,
Mhm.
allows for our community to see themselves as autonomous, and just like, executive like mindset, like bosses, and owning, like what they're doing and their contribution, and they can see it real time, and being able to look, get a feeling of that. I'll give you an example for me, how it resonated with me, because like, I'm from LA, and went to Dorsey High School, so inner city. And but when I went to Howard, and I learned about, the African diaspora
Yeah.
and ancient African studies, and how, we innovated things that haven't even been figured out today. Like, we were so technologically savvy thousands of years ago that we haven't even been able to figure out today. I was like, I got a bonus that was like, yo, and that confidence.
Which they're not gonna teach you in standard colleges and universities that are not historically Black
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
minority driven. The reason
yeah,
why is because if we were to actually live in our true greatness,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh my
Yeah,
God.
but the genie's out the bottle, though. It's too late. The genie's out the bottle. The
As
internet,
as a
so,
collective
so
of different hues of Blackness, I am a brown, light skinned brown sister,
yes,
Black, Puerto Rican, and Native American. So
yes,
I have those hues of Blackness in all those cultures, but it made who I was based on my ancestry. And you have your makeup of who you are. These young
mm-hmm,
people who don't have culture,
mm-hmm,
teaching them culture,
mm-hmm,
not people that don't look like them teaching them culture.
mm-hmm. Right, because that don't work.
It don't work.
Yeah,
And they know that. They know
yeah,
that. They know
yeah,
that. They're trying to make up for lost time. I get it. But
yeah.
they are not the ones who should be educating them on those subject matters. We need to show them what technology really looked like thousands
Hey,
of years ago.
exactly. And this is the conversation around where arts and creative minds and
Mhm.
technology, math like we think of, most people think about those two things as very opposite,
Yeah.
but they're not.
They're very same.
And that's where Tec Leimert leans in, is that nexus of they're very much wedded at the hip. You can't have one without the other. And our ancestors live that. We see the, what they were able to, create because of that. And that's the win. And really, we're doing it. We just don't realize the synergy that's there. And I'll give you I mean, and it's in it's in the way that we.
No, you said it in the beginning. You said it when you talked about the metaverse and the cipher. That's math, timing, music, the beat, the melody, all that stuff, the synergy between the lights and how it reflects into your eyes and takes into your aura so that you can feel you're in the movement of the moment. And you are finding yourself collaborating on those two, that math, the science, technology, and artistry. And we can say to our young people, you are smart in math, you are smart in science, because you know these things. And they don't connect. And because they can't see themselves in science and math and all those different harder subjects, guess what? And even English.
You're doing it. You don't even realize you're doing it. You're doing algebra. You don't even realize you're doing algebra.
And you don't realize that you love English, the language, because you use it to speak your opinion, your truth, and have a voice.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, it's so natural to you that you don't even realize. Like, if you think about anybody who loves music, the math that's in music, like, get out of here. Like, there's no way that you could say that you're not good at math and you enjoy making music. Like, it's, so that whole, there's so many lies that are out there that need to be, uncovered and broken down and gotten rid of, to allow us to really like thrive into our true selves. And we're just happy to be a part of that journey,
Yeah. And, now that you're a part, we've been meeting on several occasions with you and your team about not just the Black College Expo, so to speak, because that's our one-off event in 16 cities across the nation. And we start off the year every year in California, and then we end in I guess if you go all the way to the next year, we end in Chicago, or the new season ends in Dallas or Houston. Gotcha. And I'm telling you, it's one of those things that people just think that that's all we do, but we are we are National College Resources Foundation. We are the creators and founders of the Black College Expo. We've been doing this for 25 years, helping young people in 3 generations, Gen X, Y, and Z, now Alpha, to see themselves in the future. And now that we're collaborating with Tec Leimert, we found that this was an important merger of conversations. Because Black organizations they're strategically clawing for funding. And we found that there's sometimes you need to work together, to save the greater good. It has been projected by 2035 that the Black economic, everything that we have and hold as dear as assets will be depleted by that. We will be impoverished indefinitely. It will take a century to get out of that. And because of the pandemic, it's now 2025, like next year, that we're seeing the decline even faster because the pandemic increased those gaps. And it's time to use every technology platform. Like he was learning, Rashida, you were talking about Bitcoin and learning about all those different cryptos, how blockchain, blockchain, in our NFTs. You need to find ways to create your commerce, wealth, your economic, the traditional way with the mix of the new. You got to figure it out. Had a little hustle on the side, because we all about the hustle.
Hey, you got to hustle.
I want to make sure you say your piece, and to close us out, why are you joining the Black College Expo and NCRF in this plight?
So to sum it up in a nutshell, Tec Leimert's mission is to serve communities of color. The Black College Expo brings together tens of hundreds of thousands of families in a space. And so that's power to be able to assemble that many numbers of families into one space. And you're doing this in cities around the nation. That's what
Mm-hmm.
power looks like. And why would Tec Leimert not want to be involved in that huge effort to bring families together, and then us having the ability to insert a conversation around, technology in this 21st century economy and the skill sets that are needed to thrive, right, and not be victimized by this wealth gap, this deficit. I forgot what the name of the index is, but there's a measurement, there's an index that measures different countries like wealth polarization of the haves and the have-nots. And
Yeah.
you can see over time how it's growing in America, and not be, victimized by, this wealth disparity. Why would we not be at the Black College Expo? So
And we need more people like you guys
mhm.
talking about that as a future. You're not just preaching to them and saying, get yourself together. You're
Right.
giving them the tools, the
It's important.
know-how to
Yeah.
do it. I don't want to go to church and just hear
You gotta
what
meet you gotta meet people where they are, and
I gotta know how to do it.
yep. And so that's the win. So when we, came up with our sneaker design program, we were like, this is about to hit, because everybody's a sneakerhead. I mean, not everybody, but right. So
No,
we're talking to people,
everybody's a
what
sneakerhead.
I'm saying? So we're
They
talking
like
to
it or not.
people, about what they're interested in, but you know how much technology is within sneaker design? Come on.
After I
So
saw the movie Air, I just put
mhm.
like this. Once I saw it, it put things in a lot of perspective when Mr.
Yes.
made that negotiation and said, this
Hmm.
is how it's going to be,
Yeah.
or no. And the fact that she had the know-how in
Yeah.
her spirit,
Yeah.
believe in herself enough
Yeah.
to ask, because she
Yeah.
believed that much in her son to know that he
Hmm.
will
Yeah.
be the next face of basketball. It hands
Yeah.
down, boom, done. It's it. When you think
Yeah.
of basketball, you will think of Jordan,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
And to know that she had that confidence to even
Yeah.
say it without it, even when she may have been nervous,
Yeah. Yeah.
may have been timid, but she said, well,
Hmm.
I don't want to step on no toes, but that's how it's got to be.
Yeah.
When she hung up that phone, that Caucasian man who was sitting on the other end was like, what the heck just happened? Person from North Carolina
Yep. Yep.
invent how we gonna run this industry.
Yeah.
Blacks, we have power when we least expect it. We think we have to assert it the way that other
Yeah.
people
Not at
don't.
all.
We
Not
just
at
work
all.
in our genius. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just be
And
ourselves.
yeah, no, and exactly that. So it's kind of like knowing your power, right? And the way I like to frame it is, and I feel like technology has accelerated this, because there was a point in time when we weren't sure about the cultural sentiments of our brothers and sisters in Africa, or the cultural sentiments of our brothers and sisters in Europe, and the cultural sentiments of our brothers and sisters in Asia. Like, we weren't quite sure of that, but now, because of technology, we talk to them, right? We see them,
Mm-hmm.
right? We see how the creations that they make look like the creations that we make, and that we like the same stuff. And so now it's made our marketplace so ginormous that when I have an idea, I can be comfortable in the confidence in knowing that it's going to sell around the world.
Yeah,
I have this global economy that I'm
yeah,
tapping into, and that's the win.
that's
That's
the
the
win.
win.
And that global consumer
Hmm.
has, they love everything we do, from the ratchet
Hmm.
to the business to the sport, entertainment to
Hmm.
initiatives and the techie things that we do, from our
Yeah.
music to our clothes to our fragrances to
To our stories, to everything.
who we are, look
Yeah.
wise, hair wise.
Yeah.
think about it. Technology can amplify
Hmm.
all those cultural messages that are
Exactly.
within. And if you, as a creator, as a Black or brown person or indigenous person, finds that your story, how you tell your story, needs to have that business development savvy. It might
Hmm.
be through a sneaker design. It might be
Hmm.
social media kind of. It might be
You
here.
got it. You
You
got
don't know where it's going to fit.
it.
It might not fit where everybody else is fitting, but if you
Right.
have untapped marketing for your category over here, let
Right.
us show you that. Tech Leimert sounds like you guys are doing the work that most people will only dream of, and now you're
Well,
action.
from your lips to God's ears, but yes, I mean putting people, in position to make decisions that are equitable or
Right?
that have equitable outcomes is where we want to be, and
Yeah,
that's definitely our focus at Tec Leimert.
I
So
love it. Well, that closes that. That's it. Mic drop. I love it. So tomorrow, Elevate Your Game is going to, well, I say tomorrow, I'm saying it right now. It is a recording for us so that people can reflect on the Black College Expo and all our experiences. But on February 10th of 2024, we are celebrating our 25th anniversary in Los Angeles, where it kicked
Woo-hoo.
off 25
Mhm,
years ago, 1999, to show
mhm,
our talent in the Black educational space, our
mhm.
HBCUs. Now we have extended it to other institutions, and our exhibitors who are business owners, such as Tec Leimert, are going to be sharing their innovative ideas on the future for Gen, what is this,
All
Z,
of them,
Alpha. I don't
all
know,
the genes.
all Gen. Someone, come on, Marcus and Tec Leimert is looking at our schedule and following us as far as they can do it until we build it bigger, 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 bigger. So
Yep.
I'm super excited. This is a great new collaboration of partners, of organizational leaders in our community. LA all day, baby.
Yeah, here we come. And thank you, Denise, for this opportunity. Can't wait for tomorrow. Super excited. So we'll see everybody at the Black College Expo. Stop by the Tec Leimert booth. Stop by our panel. Let's get it.
Get it. Oh, thank you very much, Rashidi. And I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Take care.
Hi, I'm Denise Parker, National College Resources Foundation Director of Internships and Careers. I'm super excited because we've been helping our students to get opportunities with our corporate partners and our sponsors to make sure they get internships and early career pipeline pathways into the jobs of their dreams. It's awesome because we're not just helping them with resume building and interview tips, but we're also helping them to figure out how their major is mixed into what they want to do in their passions for life. And it's finding a purpose. It's not just a job to build up skills, it's also to find their career journey. Not everybody knows what they want to do when they get older. Not everybody can figure it out along the way. It might take 20 years, it might take 15 years, it might take 5 years. But guess what? Our organization, NCRF, is here to help them, follow them through to find that support that they need from the resources that we have from our wonderful corporate partners. And I'm here to advocate for you as an internship and careers director.